Alright, also look, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about, as well as listing my top 5 biggest aura losses of 2024. And with the year now coming to a close, and everyone recapping on what a fascinating year the UFC has had in 2024, I thought I'd kinda take the time to list as well as break down my top 5 fighters I thought had the biggest aura dumps as well as stock plummets in the year of 2024. So with that being said, without further ado, let's get right in to the video. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 1,500 subscribers by May. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, coming in at the 5th spot on the list, we've got the heavyweight hype job himself, Rebellis du Spain, who, mind you, was quite literally one of the most hyped UFC prospects this year alone. And guess what? He made both his UFC debut and his UFC departure within an 8-month time span. Yikes. The man got signed into the UFC, and everyone and their mother thought that he was going to be giving the entirety of the heavyweight division some major problems with his crazy elite striking. And, you know, coming into the UFC, Rebellis had the craziest stat about how in his last 4 fights, they only lasted a total of under a minute. The cat was quite literally just knocking out guys in under 20 seconds back to back. And what made his name even flourish even more was that when he made his UFC debut, he received an 18-second KO finish over Josh Parisian, which at the time was super massive. So now you're thinking, this hype is at an all-time high, and this cat might be the future of the heavyweight division. And then comes Waldo Cortez Acosta, and Rebellis du Spain loses by unanimous decision. And then comes Austin Lane, and another UD loss. Now, that makes it 2 back-to-back UFC decision losses within a 5-month time span. Not too long shortly after, Rebellis du Spain was cut from the UFC, which was honestly super out of nowhere, but at the time super disappointing because there were so many expectations for Rebellis du Spain, man, and not only for him, but for the entire heavyweight division as a whole. You see, I honestly thought that he was going to be the missing link to the unsolvable problem that was the UFC heavyweight division. But at the end of the day, it's all okay because today he is thriving in karate combat, where he just received a 4-second KO finish against his opponent, the fastest KO in history. And this was honestly where he belonged from the beginning. Now, coming in at the 4th spot on the list, and you know, I'm a little saddened to mention this guy because he's actually one of my favorite fighters, but the past year and a half has not been good for him whatsoever, and that's the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. And look, if you were to tell me at the beginning of 2023 that in 365 days, Israel Adesanya would have lost all of his swagger as well as aura as a fighter, I would have looked at you in the face, geeked, and called you a casual, because there is no way in God's name that the man who flatlined Alex Poatan Pereira, his cross-sport boogeyman as well as rival, in one of the most brutalist of fashions, would go on to have one of the most drastic drops in stock in just a few months. And, you know, it all started with Sean Strickland. See, before their UFC 293 fight, Sean Strickland had Izzy biting on the mental warfare bait, basically mentioning Izzy's dog and how Izzy was just a total weirdo behind closed doors, which at the end of the day, it's the fight game and it's just words, but you can really just chop it up to Sean Strickland being a massive troll. But come fight day, Israel Adesanya was just off of his rocker. He absolutely shit the bed and lost a unanimous decision to the massive underdog in Sean Strickland, which was kind of cool because the MMA community honestly just chopped it up to it just not being Izzy's day in the office. Then came the whole race war bid with Dricus du Plessis, which really didn't make Izzy look any better. But what made it even worse was their presser, when Dricus du Plessis made Israel Adesanya shed tears on worldwide television, and then go on to be the first ever fighter to submit Israel Adesanya. Now, the major consensus throughout the entire MMA community is that Izzy's washed, past his prime, and no longer his former self, which is honestly kind of devastating because of who he once used to be. And now, breaking in to the top 3 of the greatest aura losses of 2024, we've got Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. And look, man, at the beginning of the year, a lot of the MMA community, including myself, was actually giving Jamal Hill a lot of praise. I mean, he was still the lineal light heavyweight champion at the time who never technically lost his belt, but had to vacate because of a filthy Achilles injury, which honestly boosted his aura as well as his likability throughout the entire fan base. Because instead of selfishly squatting on the title and holding up the entire division, he let the belt go in order to make way for the new Hungry Wolves, which at the end of the day, we all gave him his flowers for. And then came his lead up for his fight against Alex Pareda for UFC 300. And you see, a lot of MMA analysts, including myself, were actually giving him the benefit of the doubt and giving him a chance against Alex Poatan, regardless of the factors and circumstances at play. But after he got brutalized by Alex, all Jamal Hill could do was deny, make excuses, and cope, which didn't necessarily put him in a good light when it came to the fans as well as the generalized media. It was like his ego acted like a barrier of delusion that couldn't let him accept the fact that he got beaten there by Alex fair and square. But all he would do was go back and forth with fans on social media, kind of giving us the impression that that loss against Alex did a lot more than KO him that night, but must have gave him some early stages of CTE. Fast forward to today, and Jamal Hill is still as delusional as ever, and even most recently crossed paths with Alex Pareda at the UFC PI. Started chirping at him and insinuating that Alex was hiding behind his Twitter, and now they're face to face in person. But when Alex threw him the gloves in order for them to spar, now all of a sudden Jamal Hill doesn't want to fight for free. Yeah, Jamal Hill has rightfully earned the 3rd spot on the list with flying colors, and it isn't even close. And now, taking the runner-up spot on the list of fighters who lost massive amounts of aura in the year of 2024. And I am very saddened to place the one and only Alexander the Great Volkanovski at the number 2 spot. And look, there was a point in time where we all thought that Alexander Volkanovski was the epitome of invincibility. From his absolute adversity he showed in his fight against Brian Ortega, the way he had Max Holloway's number every single time they would fight, to the absolute domination of Yair Rodriguez. 145-pound featherweight Alexander Volkanovski just couldn't lose. But then came the accursed day of October 21st, 2023. And on 8 days short notice, Alexander Volkanovski was brutally flatline stiffened by the lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev. But you see, the general consensus behind this fight was that not only was this a short notice Alexander Volkanovski coming off of the couch, but he was also fighting a weight above against the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. So once he goes back to the featherweight division, vintage Alexander Volk will dominate once again. Or so we thought. February 18th, 2024, almost exactly 4 months since his last bout, Alexander Volkanovski was once again brutally flatline stiffened, this time by the young, cocky and confident Ilia El Matador Topuria. Now, fast forward till today, and Alexander Volkanovski has yet to step into the octagon since his previously mentioned fight against Ilia El Matador. And so now the general consensus throughout the MMA community today is that Alexander Volkanovski is now a chinny old man peaking at the twilight of his prime. And honestly speaking, even though I'm a very, very big Ilia Topuria fan that pre-UFC 298 called his victory against Volk, it's still super upsetting seeing the champion once known for his aura of invincibility get it shattered right in front of our eyes for all the world to see. And now, taking the #1 spot on my list of biggest aura losses of 2024, And we've got the fraud himself, Shotarachmanov. And look, going into 2024, Shotarachmanov was believed to be the quote-unquote boogeyman of the UFC. From his 18-fight winning streak to all of his wins coming by finish, the man was believed to be the 170-pound marauder with a 100% finish rate. And then came the 6'3" soy boy vegan who is married to his nutritionist's wife, and he goes by the name of Ian Machado Gary. Mind you, no one in the division even wanted to face Shitrat. I mean, his last fight before his most recent was a year ago on December 16th, where he submitted a 42-year-old Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in the second round. So basically, this entire year, he's been getting shot down by elite welterweights that didn't want to take him on due to him being too big of a hurdle in order to cover in such short notice. But not for Ian Gary, the significant underdog as well as the most hated and ridiculed fighter within the MMA community. He not only accepted the fight when others wouldn't, but did a lot better than expected, and went on to take the man with a 100% finish rate as well as the man who is supposed to be fighting for the title to a decision and almost finish him in the 5th round, and quite literally had Shitrat breaking the 4th wall and asking us at home how to get out of this RNC like some type of Dora Explorer episode. Nonetheless, Shotarachmanov ended up winning the fight by unanimous decision, but almost getting beat that badly by a man that you were realistically supposed to be steamrolling definitely grants you the fattest oral loss of 2024. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what were your guys' thoughts on my list of the top 5 greatest oral losses of 2024? And let me know in the comment section below, what are your guys' top 5 greatest oral losses of 2024? Let me know in the comment section below. And that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.